Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we have a look at various cryptocurrency projects and we ask ourselves, is this really going to be worth investing in? Today we'll be having a look at Wagmi, which stands for we're all going to make it. Apparently it's a little special kind of crypto phrase thing. Haven't really seen too much of it, but I have heard of it before. If you like what I do on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you do want to comment, please try to make it constructive and healthy, because we want to create a community which is based around truth and kindness. I can imagine, because of some of the things which I'm going to be talking about in this video today, that there's probably going to be a bunch of angry shillers coming onto this channel. So if you see a bunch of angry shillers in the comments who are just like, bro, you suck, don't listen to them, because yeah, they have probably not done the research, and they probably just watched like 2 minutes of this video and they'd be like, oh my gosh, dude, this guy called me a shiller, how dare he? Okay, so, market cap. We don't know the current market cap, but we know the fully diluted market cap, and it says that our rank is currently 4,581. I believe that this fully diluted market cap is possibly the actual market cap. The reason why I say that is because most of the supply is, this probably like kind of accounts for most of the supply which is currently in circulation. They have 1 trillion total supply. So first of all, what is Wagmi? Magmi. Wagmi is a little game. We currently don't have any trailers for this game. We don't really have any sort of gameplay. We don't really have anything, really. The team they don't really show much of a team. Neither. But we will be looking at a few of these other things, including tokenomics and a little bit of the roadmap. But yeah, so far we really do not have much. So let's have a look. So let's have a look at where the price has gone. So the price started at 0 point something or rather with a 36 at the end, so it was all the way up there, and so those were like the 3s, and then now we're down chilling around the 2 sort of mark. So the price has dropped since its release, and people will probably blame it for being like, but bro, the like crypto community has been struggling since that time, which I mean, that'd be right, to be honest. I mean, crypto has gone down quite a bit, like during the kind of November to December period. And then like during January it was kind of starting to recover a little bit, so it sort of makes sense why this is probably going up a little bit more as well. In terms of the community, so there's a whole bunch of aggressive shillers in the community. I haven't tried messaging these guys on Discord or anything, because I haven't really had much of a reason to message these guys. But yeah, one positive thing about the community, it looks like you can't actually comment in their actual Discord. So those are always good projects to invest in when we can't actually chat to anybody. Always invest in projects where they don't tell you anything, just to let you know. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, the less you know, the better risk to reward ratio. I don't even know. Anyway, so you can actually comment in their Wagmi Telegram group though, so it looks like you can actually talk to them there. And when I say them, it looks like it's just a bunch of memes and shillers, is my guess. Which, yeah, I mean, doesn't necessarily make it a bad group, just, yeah. Anyway, let's move on, and let's see what else we can find. So, I'm going to bring up this post because it's quite interesting. So they sort of talk about Moontime, 24 hours Wagmi games, and people are sort of talking about it, being like, oh my gosh, love the Wagmi team, Wagmified, never heard of that. But they say, so the team's AMA sold it for me. I couldn't see, so I tried kind of looking on YouTube to see if I could see an AMA or something. And I'm also looking at their Reddit page as well. And yeah, I can't really see anything which sort of says to us that, that they have actually had an AMA, so I'm not too sure exactly where he's getting the information from. But maybe it's just something which I couldn't find /see. And a bunch of people talking about, you know, 100x, bullish, 100 mil market cap and beyond is already blah blah. Cubics partnership. I did have a look up Cubics briefly, because they're apparently like, I think maybe a bunch of the guys behind the actual like development of this, I think. Don't quote me on that. And from what I saw, I was like, okay, so these guys, so Cubics is like the blockchain which they're building on, maybe. Yeah, so apparently there's like a kind of like a DApp thing, which DAPP, which you can, I guess, use or what have you. So anyway, let's have a look at what we can find out regarding the actual chains themselves. So we can see that the Wagmi game deployer, so this would be this, I'm assuming, because don't actually know for certain, but I'm assuming that this has to do with the so this is a dev wallet which we are looking at, and we can see that it is currently not locked to a contract, but I believe that this will probably have something to do with the actual tokenomics of it all. Yeah. And so as we can see with a bunch of the other wallets as well, very few people own any large amount which can then go and be pulled out. So essentially most of this looks like it's just people who, so I wouldn't really call any of these guys whales from what I can see. Yeah, and I mean the fact that like the second highest wallet is actually a part of the Uniswap liquidity, so it doesn't really make me feel too threatened, to be honest. So we'll have a look at what BSCscan says. So keep in mind, so in terms of where you can buy and sell this on, they currently have only got it on Uniswap and pancakeswap. So Uniswap being ETH, pancakeswap being Binance smartchain. Yeah, so or BNB. So yeah, and then we have a look at, so this one here, so pancakeswap, we see that they're also sitting on a contract as well, and a similar thing with the Wagmi game deployer as well. So to be honest, if we were to just look at BSCscan and Etherscan by themselves, we would say that it looks decent. It looks like a sort of slick project. It looks like there's nothing really which is going to be that threatening to us, especially because these are not high or like hugely high percentages. So of course, if like they go and sell all at once, then yes, they could drop the token quite heavily. But to me, it doesn't feel as threatening as it could be. All right, let's have a look at what bscheck says. So I'll see if hey, it worked, cool. So let's have a look. So honeypot, so it doesn't say that it is a honeypot, but it does say, but suspicious trading status variables detected in the contract code. Trade could maybe be blocked at any moment, which we will be having a look at as well. Suspicious function detected, trading could be blocked. So it's interesting how it sort of says it on both of these as well. The dev token, so we know that they're sort of holding about 12% there. And in terms of the lockages, we can see here that actually they hold two systems in regards to how they can actually lock the tokens. Yeah, I am not familiar with how to sort of understand kind of lockings when it comes to the actual BSCscan and Etherscan, but this does say that we have 99%, which is burn/lock. So to me, that's pretty good. Although we don't currently know how long they're going to be locked for. Yeah. And then so other top holders, yeah, they look pretty good as well because nobody's really holding over 5% of, 10%. Similar thing here, suspicious trading status. Another suspect function detected with this one as well. So remember, this is the Binance smartchain one. So they've actually been locked using pink lock or pink sale. Yeah, so it's alright. There's nothing really too threatening about what I can see there so far, other than the fact that things could be manipulated. But when we move on, you'll see a little bit more about why I'm a little bit sus about this. So ownership renounced is also so the ownership has not been renounced, which yeah, I mean I guess that's okay-ish. And then so we can see that 44%. So this is according to the Ethereum one. So 44% is, so the other sort of contracts which we can see, or other sort of similar token contracts are down here, but we don't have any warning. So usually if let's say a token is like a little bit sus, or the actual contract is sus or has been exploited in a bad way before, usually they'll sort of have them listed here as maybe like an hack or an exploit or something like that. So none of these seem to be flagged, but if let's say anybody has heard of any of these projects which we actually see here, and that maybe they have sort of been flagged, or there's like a bad thing about them which we don't currently know yet, feel free to comment and actually tell us so that we can learn a little bit more. Yeah. All right, cool. And so it says that we have adequate liquidity present as well. And the owner wallet contains less than 5% of the liquidity, which is interesting because, okay, yeah, cool. So we'll move on. So this is the Binance Smart Chain one. So when we have a look here, so token is sellable. Buy and sell fee is quite a high-ish percentage. It's quite interesting how the buy and sell fee is different from the ETH one. So the ETH being 5.5%, and then this one being 11.5%. So not entirely sure why that is. If anybody knows, feel free to comment that. So verified contract source, no prior. So interesting. So no prior similar token contracts as well. Let's see what else we can see. So an owner/creator wallet contains more than 5%, which would be this one right here. And as we have seen, this one is locked by pink lock for the next 25 days. And I believe that the other one was going to be locked for 45 days. So this 44% here will be locked, or the liquidity will be locked for the next 45 days. So Unicrypt, what does that tell us? This is in regards to Uniswap and their liquidity, which is available. We actually know that they have 107 available, which is cool, which also makes it like 113 billion worth of Wagmi, if you do want to go and purchase that. And then we have a look at the BSC one, and the BSC one says here that we have so 666 BNB or $200,068 worth of BNB in the liquidity pool, if I have got that correct, or the liquidity pool holdings. This also is DEX tools, which is another good sort of tool to use to identify maybe if something is going to be okay or not. So in terms of the community trust score, it says that we have 18 votes, so 88% up and then 11% down. And you can have a look at some of the details on the left hand side if you so wish. It says total liquidity $628,000, and this is regarding Wagmi and WETH. Cool, so let's continue moving on. So this is Moonarch. For those of you who don't know or use Moonarch, very cool tool. So it says liquidity locks on Uniswap. I don't believe that, so this is in their beta. I believe that this is probably at a stage where we can't actually see where the liquidity locks on Moonarch are. But we do see in regards to how much liquidity and how much it says for market cap and max supply and all that sort of jazz. So let's have a look at who owns what. So liquidity, it says that we have 11% for liquidity, and out of that 11%, it says that 99% has been unlocked. And then burnt, I mean, is 0.12%, and then the owner has 0.49% of that liquidity as well. And then the owner also has 12% of that 1 trillion tokens worth of supply, and the rest is unlocked as well. So here are some things on the right hand side which could cause a bit of concerns. So you know, we've already had the one regarding the owner, and there is a few other things. So there seems to be a bunch of modifiers which could cause a potential risk for anybody investing in this as well. So just sort of be aware of that. So they may be able to do some sort of hidden mints. They could possibly be able to change the fees to a number where maybe it's actually too high to be able to sell. They could even possibly be able to disable the selling. And yeah, so there's possibly a few other things on here which could cause concern for us. Especially because when they may be able to sort of change and update the actual fee amount, they could possibly go and like pull the rug over our heads potentially. So this shows the Binance Smartchain one. Notice how they're both kind of similar charts, although this one does show that over 90% of that is actually locked in liquidity, and 9% of that liquidity supply is owned by the owner. And so the owner also owns 9%, liquidity 10%, and then unlocked is 80% there. We can actually see where they're actually locked as well in regards to pink lock. And similar sort of issues with here. Beware of hidden mint, can modify max transaction amount. So after pre-sale, prepare for pre-sale. Hidden mint, be aware of hidden mint. So pretty much everything which we saw as a concern from the other, from the ETH contract is potentially a concern here as well. So these are pretty concerning. Now, there are audits, and these are the audits here. Now, I did open these here. So these say low severity risk, but they do also talk about the owner privileges themselves. If you can actually have a look here, I'll zoom in a little bit. So we can actually see what things the owner can do. So owner can exclude from the fee, blacklist addresses, change fees, marketing, can lock and unlock, which is quite interesting. I think that the video which you posted yesterday also talked a little bit about this as well, in terms of the lock and unlock. Yeah, because I think they might have briefly unlocked to like go and sell a bunch. which dropped the price quite heavily with that one. By the way, using these functions, the owner could retake privileges even after the ownership was renounced. Now, keep in mind that is known as a false renounce, I believe, where they can like pretend to, you know, like renounce, but they actually haven't. So that's a little bit sussy there. Pretty much the same sort of issues are on this side as well. They also talk about an out of gas thing, but I feel like I have seen that quite a few times, so that's kind of a bit common-ish. But also, as we can see, they have a whole bunch of extra things here as well. So yeah, so enable/disable trading, that is greatly concerning. But this is what they found when they actually did the audit as well. So although it says low severity issues, I think that the fact that you can buy and sell it is, I don't know what would be considered medium to high severity issues, because I've never seen an audit where it's been like that before. But yeah, that's kind of a bit concerning there, the fact that those are some of the cases. So we'll have a look at some of the extra socials. And as we can see, so they've had mostly a few hundreds sort of over the more recent days. And then one day they had minus 257. Don't know what that was regarding. Maybe it was a bunch of bot accounts deleted. I'm not entirely sure. But over the last 30 days, they have had a whole nother 2,500 on top of who they are. And the user was created on December 13th. Keep in mind that according to CoinMarketcap, the actual token itself, it looks like it's only really been in circulation since early December as well. So there hasn't been, so it doesn't seem to have been around for too long. But yeah, people are sort of trying to like shill it and say that it's like the next best thing since sliced bread. Also had a look at the other posts as well, and it was mostly just kind of like people being like, yeah, LFG, let's go, man, we're gonna go to the moon. So there's nothing really bad which people are talking about, like nobody's really claiming like Rugpull or scam or anything, so I guess that's a bit of a good sign possibly. But keep in mind this is pretty early into this project, considering that it's quite fresh. So yeah, so have a look at some of the other things. So this is a part of their main website. I believe that they'll have an NFT marketplace. They do also have a exchange, or they're developing an exchange. I did sort of see if I could go onto it myself, but I believe I actually need to connect my wallet to be able to do this. This token doesn't appear on the active token list, so yeah. So they talk a little bit about their story and team. Now, one thing which kind of puts me off is the fact that we cannot do anything with teams. So they have, so it looks like you can click on these things, but like they don't have, it doesn't go anywhere. Like it just, nothing happens, dude. So yeah, that's a bit of a I don't want to say red flag, false negative, false positive, I don't know. Yeah, so it's a bit concerning when I see that we don't actually know these guys' names, and that they aren't choosing to dox themselves, which is also, if let's say they were to do a proper rug pull, it would really, like, having all of these sort of like modifiers here really kind of tells us that there is a possibility for them to, you know, go and pull it out, and then suddenly they disappear into the middle of nowhere, and then nobody knows where they went, and then, you know, nobody's name is getting shamed and all that jazz. So yeah, we'll move on. So this seems to be a bit of a picture of the game. Don't know if it actually is properly like that. They sort of claim it to be a bit like, gosh, what is that game called? Clash of Clans, I think, or Clash Royale, something like that. So they sort of claim to be a bit like that, and it's like a PvP tower defense game. So when we have a look at some of these tokenomics here, as we can see, so we have, so this talks a bit about the buy and sell tax. I believe that this buy and sell tax might be the 11%, possibly, because they do have different sort of buy and sell tax for different chains. So Binance smartchain, as we can see, 0% has been going / belongs to the team, and so you have exchange, balancer, game, advisory, and then a few others as well. So yeah, so most of it is in liquidity / circulating supply, which is a positive. And then on the other side we have Ethereum, which, as we can see, advisory is 3%, airdrops 5%, game 3%, team 12, which we have actually seen that 12 wallet as well. So they are being transparent about that one. And then so exchange 3%, balance at 2%. One thing which is interesting though is that usually one thing which really would help us would be that if, let's say, they were to actually lock up their actual, I guess, team dev wallets per se. Because yeah, it just seems a bit, I don't know, sus when you have like that much percent. I mean, it says that it like that like this current wallet's value is $340,000, which, remember, if these guys go and sell, rest in peace this project. And judging by some of the comments and everything, it does feel a bit like this could be one of those ones. So this tells us a bit about the roadmap and what we can see in terms of upcoming things. So they tell us about what's happening for Q1 2022. 3, 4, and 2. MMORG planning. MMORG. Jeez. MMORPG. Sorry, guys. Jeez. Launch PvE model for P2E. Complete total of 350 in-game assets. So they've got a whole bunch of stuff which they're sort of wanting to do it. So and they have a cinematic trailer possibly coming out at some point soon. But if we actually have a look here, we can actually see where they have had. It's kind of interesting because they are transparent in regards to the actual audits themselves, because these are the same audits as these ones over here. So it's kind of cool how they are transparent about that, and not really trying to hide the fact that like they have some, I guess, suspicious looking functions. I guess you could say that. Yeah, in the period when the owner is not renounced, and as we know, the owner does not seem to be renounced from what we can see, especially when we have a look here. So yeah, so owner not renounced. Cool. So we can see other things as well in regards to the token on BSC and ERC, and they also talk about the NFT drop, and they talk about other things for the game as well. Yeah, and so they talk about CEX exchanges, crypto, YouTube, AMAs. As I say, I did try to hunt for an AMA, but I couldn't see one yet. But remember, so that's a part of phase 2, and then 3, and then 4. So yeah, so it looks like there is possibly quite a bit which may potentially be happening in that whole sort of area. Some things, so unanswered questions, which I have not asked, which you guys are very welcome to ask to the team yourselves, if you so wish, is why is the buy and sell fee 5.5% for the Ethereum chain, but then for the BSC chain, it is 11.5%. And I guess maybe what are these sort of big wallets used for? Because keep in mind that when we were actually having a brief look at the tokenomics, sorry, I'll just jump down to it. So that there was nothing belonging to the team when it came to the actual tokenomics on the Binance smart chain, but for the Ethereum chain, we saw that they have 12%. So I'm not exactly sure why they sort of look like the exact same wallet. So yeah, that's a bit random. I don't really think that's suspicious. I just think that's just random, to be honest. So the question that you guys really want to know the answer to: should you invest into this project? If you do it because you believe in the game, man. I mean, a bunch of people are saying that it's, going to go like hugely high. I personally, I would not invest into this, only because of some of these extra sort of things which we have seen here, which could really create an extra cause for concern. In my point of view, that's where we could see a bit of an extra cause for concern in those areas. And also where, BSCcheck does tell us that there could be suspicious functions as well, and the audits tell us that the owner could possibly disable selling, and the fact that the team has not been doxxed, and the fact that we don't have any gameplay, and the fact that they say that they... So, yeah, and there's been no interviews. I mean, yeah. So, all in all, guys, if you do invest in it, please be safe with your money. Yeah, I am not going to advise that you invest into this. I forgot actually to say right at the beginning of this video that this is not to be considered as financial advice. Don't use for inspirational, educational, and entertainment purposes. Anything which I say in this video comes underneath that rule. There'll also be a thing in the description saying that as well, that, this is not to be taken as legal advice. But yeah, it's just it's a bit too concerning for me, guys. So anyway, that is my video. Thank you very much for watching and getting to the end with me. Please consider liking and subscribing if you did actually enjoy the video. And once again, if you do wish to comment, please try to make it healthy and constructive so that we can all be learning from it. Because yeah, if you're just gonna shill for the sake of shilling, then I don't know, does it really kind of benefit us? Probably not. Yeah, also go to Patreon if you wanted to join and help me every sort of month with some extra finances, because yeah, I do want to continue making these videos and hopefully get paid for doing it. Yeah, I also have a early access thing, and also have like a little fan request thing as well. So if you guys did actually want to join me on that journey, you are very welcome to. And if you want, you are welcome to probably message me on my social medias as well. But just don't go and like spam me with like a bunch of annoying links or something. So yeah, anyway, good night.